Good morning, students. I, Professor Arvind Mudhyadihar from Department of Mechanical Engineering, welcome you to the subject Design of Machine Elements 1. Today, in this class, we are going to study about the factor of safety, types of failures, and theories of failures. Factor of safety is a quite important parameter in the design aspect. When designing machine parts, it is desirable to keep the stresses lower than maximum or ultimate stress at which failure of the material takes place. So this stress is known as a working stress or design stress, or it is also called as allowable stress. So based on this, the factor of safety is defined as the ratio of maximum stress to the working stress. And again, this factor of safety can be defined with a different equation for ductile material and brittle material separately. For ductile material, where the yield point is clearly defined, the factor of safety is based on the yield stress. For simple tension or compression, factor of safety is defined as maximum stress to the working stress or design stress. And for the ductile material, factor of safety is defined as the ratio of yield stress to the working stress, whereas for brittle material, it is defined as ratio of ultimate stress to the working stress. Since in design analysis there are number of parameters which are very difficult to evaluate accurately, such as variation in the properties of materials like yield strength or ultimate strength. These properties will vary material to material, and for the same material also there will be a slight changes in the yield strength or the ultimate strength based on the material composition. And uncertainty in magnitude of external forces acting on the components, this yield strength and ultimate strength varies continuously. Variations in the dimensions of the components due to imperfect machining of the component or any flaws in the machining. In order to ensure the safety against such circumstances, the factor of safety plays a major role. The next topic is types of failures. The types of failures, there are mainly two types of failures depending upon the materials. One is a brittle failure and one is the ductile failure. The ductile failure occurs in the ductile materials, whereas brittle failure occurs in the brittle material. These failure analysis are done in the tensile testing using UTM machine, that is universal testing machine. In the brittle materials, it is observed that the brittle material do not undergo plastic deformation under the stress. Here in the figure you can see that the brittle material is subjected to tensile test and without any deformation, that is without any reduction in the cross sectional area, the failure takes suddenly. So since the failure is sudden at the ultimate limit, we cannot see the necking in the brittle material. So there is no necking formation in the brittle material. Whereas this is the failure of the ductile material. In the ductile material, there is a reduction in the cross-sectional area and the fracture takes slowly. So there is a indication of fracture before it's get failure. So in the ductile material, first necking takes place, thereafter reduction in the cross-sectional area, we are the ductile failure. and in the figure C, what you can see is a failure in the pure ductile material. So it is called as a completely ductile fracture. So these are the types of failures in the brittle and ductile materials. The next topic is theories of failures. We know that in practical situations, the material is subjected to the multiple loads. It will not be subjected to any single load like a tensile or any single compression or only torsion or only bending. The material or the component will be subjected to combined load, like it will be combination of axial or bending or torsional and so on. So it is very easy to predict the failure of the material when a material is subjected to a single load. However, if the material is subjected to a complex stress system, then it is very difficult to predict when the material is going to fail in the application. So in order to predict the failure of the material when it is subjected to combined stresses or the combined load, the following theories of failure are being formulated. So namely, maximum normal stress theory, which is also known as Rankin's theory, maximum shear stress theory, which is also known as Guest's theory, maximum distortion energy theory, which is also known as Hencke-Masis theory, maximum principal or normal strain theory or strain Venet's theory, maximum strain energy theory or Hike's theory, and Morse theory. These are the different theories of failures. Now, according to the syllabus, we have maximum normal stress theory. Next, we have maximum shear stress theory. We have maximum distortion energy theory. We have maximum principal strain or uh, we have maximum strain energy theory and Morse theory. Next, let us see first one, the maximum normal stress theory. Maximum normal stress theory, which is also known as Rankin's theory. Here student has to remember the names of the theories in the both the ways, that is the scientist name as well as the theory name. In the examination they may ask the name as only Rankin's theory, or they may ask to explain you only the maximum normal stress theory. You should be able to identify and write down the correct one. So here in the maximum normal stress theory, the failure of component takes place if the maximum principal stress at any point in the material exceeds the ultimate or yield point stress. If the principal stress acting in the three directions are sigma 1, sigma 2 and sigma 3, and if sigma 1 is greater than sigma 2 and sigma 2 is greater than sigma 3, then the design equation is given as follows. Here you can see that sigma 1 is less than or equal to yield stress divided by the factor of safety. Here n indicates the factor of safety. In this case, the principal stress sigma 1 is given by sigma 1 is equal to sigma x plus sigma y divided by 2 plus root of sigma x minus sigma y divided by 2 whole square plus tau xy square. Here the allowable stress is given by not allowable stress, it's a principal stress is also given by yield stress divided by the normal stress, where yield stress divided by the factor of safety. So n is the factor of safety. So yield stress divided by factor of safety give us allowable stress. Therefore, allowable stress is given by this equation. Again, this equation is available in the data handbook also. allowable stress is equal to 1 by 2 into sum of sigma x plus sigma y plus root of sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 4 times tau xy square. Here, if the external static loads produces direct tensile stress or it is direct compressive stress, sigma x, sigma y and sigma z acting normal to one another and shear stresses are 0, then the normal stress itself are the principal stresses. In such cases, failure of the material would occur when any one of the stresses exceeds the yield point stress. In the next case, if the external load produce both direct and shear stress, then the principal stresses can be determined using the empirical equations. If the numerical maximum principal stress is positive, that is a tensile, then the design equation is given by sigma max is greater than yield stress divided by factor of safety. Here the yield stress is in when the material is subjected to the tensile stress. If the numerical maximum principal stress is negative, then it indicates it's a compressive. Then design equation is sigma max should be greater than or equal to sigma yc divided by factor of safety. Here yc, sigma yc is nothing but yield stress under the compressive load. So this theory is based on failure in tension or compression and ignores the shearing. Therefore, the limitation of this theory is suitable for only good brittle material. The next theory we have maximum shear stress theory or Guess theory. According to this theory, failure occurs in the component when the maximum induced shear stress exceeds the shear stress at the yield point. Therefore, the design equation can be written as tau max is greater than or equal to tau y divided by n, where n indicates factor of safety and tau y is shear stress at the yield point. Since the shear stress at the yield point is equal to 1/2 of the yield stress in the tension, so the same equation can be written as tau max is equal to sigma yt divided by 2 into factor of safety, where sigma yt divided by factor of safety will give us the allowable normal stress. In case of three-dimensional stress state, tau max is the largest among the three values. That is, we need to calculate sigma 1 minus sigma 2 divided by 2 or sigma 2 minus sigma 3 divided by 2 and sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2. Among these, whichever the highest value we get, so that will be the maximum shear stress, where sigma 1, sigma 2 and sigma 3 are the principal stresses. In case of two-dimensional stress system, tau max is the largest among the three values, that is sigma 1 minus sigma 2 divided by 2 or sigma 1 divided by 2 or sigma 2 divided by 2. Among these three values, whichever the maximum value will come, so that will be the maximum shear stress for the two-dimensional stress system. For the two-dimensional stress system, if the principal stresses sigma 1 and sigma 2 are of opposite signs, then the maximum shear stress will be calculated or will be equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 2 divided by 2. Here principal stresses sigma 1 and sigma 2 are opposite sign, means it might be one might be in the tensile and one might be in the compression. So that indicates the opposite signs. Next, if the principal stresses sigma 1 and sigma 2 are of the same sign, then the maximum shear stress will be equal to sigma 1 divided by sigma 2, or it will be sigma 2 divided by 2. And the third case, the maximum shear stress will be equal to 1 by 2 root of sigma x minus sigma y divided whole square plus 4 times tau xy square. If yield stress, if sigma y, the stress in the y direction is equal to 0, then tau max will be equal to, that is maximum shear stress will be equal to 1 divided by 2 into root of sigma x whole square plus 4 times the tau xy square. In this case, when sigma 1 and sigma 2 are of opposite signs, this theory mostly used for designing of the ductile materials. So in the third case, we have to note down that this is true, that is tau max is equal to 1 by 2 root of sigma x whole square plus 4 tau xy square. This is when sigma 1 and sigma 2 are of opposite sign. Since here the shear stresses are considered, therefore this theory is mostly used for designing the members which are made of ductile materials. So this theory is suitable for the ductile materials. Next we have maximum distortion energy theory, or Henke and Mises theory, or it is also known as shear energy theory. So according to this theory, the failure of the component or the material causes is not only because of the strain energy. Here it is the part of the strain energy which causes the uniform extension in the material, and the remaining part of the failure is because of the shearing action, which is known as shear energy or energy distortion. It is this distortion energy which is criterion for the predicting failure. Thus, this theory states that failure occurs when the strain energy of distortion per unit volume at any point in the machine member or the element becomes equal to strain energy of distortion per unit volume in a standard tension test specimen when yielding starts. So when we conduct this tension test, in this test sigma 1 will be equal to sigma x equal to sigma y, and sigma 2 and sigma 3 will be equal to 0. In case of biaxial stress state, the design equation is given by sigma yt divided by FOS whole square, that is yield stress divided by factor of safety whole square, is equal to sigma 1 square plus sigma 2 square minus sigma 1 into sigma 2. For triaxial stress state, the design equation is given by yield stress divided by factor of safety whole square is equal to sigma 1 square plus sigma 2 square plus sigma 3 square minus sigma 1 into sigma 2 minus sigma 2 into sigma 3 minus sigma 3 into sigma 1. Again, further this equation can be written as sigma 1 minus sigma 2 whole square plus sigma 2 minus sigma 3 whole square plus sigma 1 minus sigma 3 whole square under the whole bracket divided by 2. So this theory, again, it is suitable for the ductile materials, and for the torsion, when the material is subjected to the torsion, the shear stress is considered as 0.577 times the yield stress. Next we have maximum strain energy theory, or Hicks theory. This theory states that material will fail, or the component will fail, when the maximum strain energy in a multi-axial stress state exceeds the or it exceeds the strain energy obtained in a simple tensile test. So in case of triaxial stress system, the design equation is given by sigma yt divided by n whole square, that is yield strength divided by factor of safety whole square is equal to sigma 1 square plus sigma 2 square plus sigma 3 square minus 2 into nu into bracket sigma 1 into sigma 2 plus sigma 2 into sigma 3 plus sigma 3 into sigma 1, where mu is the Poisson's ratio. For biaxial stress system, this maximum strain energy theory is given by yield strength divided by factor of safety whole square is equal to sigma 1 square plus sigma 2 square minus 2 nu into sigma 1 into sigma 2, where again nu is the Poisson's ratio. This theory rarely used in the design process since the maximum normal stress theory and maximum shear stress theory and the distortion energy theory will give more accurate results than this. So maximum strain theory is rarely used. So these are the different types of theories of failures what we have in the design process. So this is all about the theories of failures. In the next class, we are going to study about the stress concentration factor and methods of reducing the stress concentration factor and effect of the stress concentration factor. Thank you.